this is something very interesting, and I think it's going to make complete sense to you. How would you like to switch your mentality so that you will understand in which areas you have to reinforce your knowledge?
I think we can all relate to watching a movie about World War II. Seeing airplanes going down left and right at the slightest damage. Have you ever thought about why that is? Or why can't we make them tougher? The first solution that comes to mind is putting armor on the plane. Reinforcing a plane is relatively simple, and armor is commonly used practically everywhere. However, we run into the minor problem that an airplane covered by armor, like a tank, can't take off. So where should we put that protection? The exact same question was floating in the heads of the British commanders in the Second World War. They had data on the planes that returned home and where they were hit. The suggestion was made to put armor where the most bullet holes are, since that is apparently where the planes are being hit. The less holes, the better, right? Well, not exactly. Wald Abraham, an expert of statistics, suggested that they reinforce the parts that sustained little to no damage. But why? Simple. Because unlike him, the brass was committing a logical error known as survivorship bias. In simple terms, survivorship bias is the tendency to only focus on the survivors instead of everyone. Sometimes that means you only see the winners, not the losers. At other times, it means you only see the rich and the successful, but not the thousands who also worked hard but failed. The same applies to our airplanes. Since the only ones we can observe are the ones that survived and returned home, we don't know where the planes that didn't make it home were hit. So instead, what we can say is that the damage that was done to the planes that returned home wasn't fatal. We don't need to reinforce those damaged parts. Instead, focus on the unscathed parts of the plane and reinforce those. After it's explained, it seems so simple and obvious. Yet the commanders still didn't notice their fatal flaw. Does that mean that we are probably committing the same mistake in many decisions of our lives? It absolutely does. Survivorship bias will make you want to follow big CEOs, star athletes, or actors for advice on how to live your life and how to become successful. Most want to hear stories of struggling against the same forces that they themselves struggle against daily, and coming out as the winner. The caveat is that the bias will also make you conveniently forget about those that could tell you what to avoid, the ones who failed. And without both sides of the coin, you can easily come to the wrong conclusions.
This aircraft, as you can see there, is just full of red dots. And all these red dots were basically a collection of what the engineers figured out whenever they went back there in the Center of Naval Analysis. Whenever all these aircraft came back safe to the ground, they found out that they were all these holes. I mean, they were basically mapping over the holes were on the aircraft. And then they started saying, well, you know, this is exactly where we have to reinforce the aircraft so that they will resist. And that's what the engineers were thinking. So when we were showing this video of the Venn diagram of how they see things, of course, I mean, there's people that can see the problem but cannot really fix the problem. And here in Fast Forward, we're going to help you solve the problem. So a mathematician actually started seeing this, and then he says, well, you know, we are having absence of data because we only know where the aircraft have been hit from the aircraft that have actually come back to the base, but we do not have any information about the ones that never came back. So what I feel is that what we need to reinforce is not where the holes are, where all the red dots are, but we have to actually be reinforcing where the holes are. I mean, the bullets are not, because of course those were the aircraft that never came back. So we have to reinforce the ailerons, we have to reinforce the engines, we have to reinforce the cockpit, because that is exactly where the aircraft which are going down are receiving the most bullets. So that's one of the things that we need to understand right now. Absence of data and survivorship bias. I mean, right now, we need to change our mentality. We need to understand that there's a lot of things that we do not know about, and we have to reinforce in those things that I know that are going to make us stronger in the future to come.
If we're looking at how to use that survival bias in terms of the challenges facing everybody who's watching the show, then what we're looking at is what will take you down, what will take you out. And off the top of my head, I would say your health, your ability to be smart and to pivot, your reliance on somebody else to provide money for you, as in a job, and your inability to read what's going around you and move to where things are going next. If you're doing the old game, that's what's most likely to take you down. And that's why so many people aren't looking after themselves. But one element that I would say that we haven't mentioned, and we're going to be going through this in deep depth next week, is about your mindset. Because there will be a second pandemic and it will be about mental health. And if you want to be able to do all the stuff we're talking about with a show, and you want to be able to do all the stuff that's going to make you successful in the future, you're going to make sure that your head is on straight in the right place, and you are vulnerable, you understand empathy, and you protect yourself against all the news and all the stuff that's hitting you on a regular basis. So with that in mind, big question for you. How do you work out if you're going to move forward fast? How to make a business around your skills once you've worked out the survival bias. And we're going to be sharing that in a moment. But what I want to do is, as always, with the comments, leave your comments. We love to see what's going on. We've got some great stuff. Thanks to Mike and also Vincent and Mr. Yes, already making comments. We'd love to have your feedback. So the hedgehog is something that we talked about before. It's my favorite diagram, talking about Venn diagrams. This one's very special. I'll go through it very quickly, but I think when you see it, you'll appreciate how important it is. 3 circles, you need to make a win. It's called a hedgehog because hedgehogs do this naturally. In a way, nature's made them so powerful that they can protect themselves without even making any effort. This is what you need to do and shift in the pandemic. 3 circles, first one, bottom left. The blue one, what are you best in the world at doing? Top one, red, what's your passion all about? And the green one on the bottom right is what really works your economic engine? What will people pay for? In the center is a win, but if you get any 2 of them right, but not the third one, you're either going to have a non-sustainable business, it won't be realistic because nobody's going to want it, or you'll create lots of money, but you'll hate doing it, and then you'll be really bored. Now, this is key to me, and I know it's key to the people that are in our group watching right now, because every single one of the people whose names I read is a master of what they do, and they're really passionate about what they do as well, which means that they can do it all the time. Ernesto and I put in 50 days on the trot doing this show as a Toilet Paper Diaries as soon as we went into the pandemic, and the thing that got us through is because doing this was our hedgehog. Right now, there will be more evidence of how that comes around, but we're also doing it to share with you how you can do it too. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you really enjoyed it, then make sure you watch one of these 2 videos afterwards. And Ernesto, why are you staring up the top of my head?
Dave, your hair is actually thinning out.
Well, if it is, it's about the only thing getting thin on this show.
Here on this side, we have some more amazing videos for you to watch.
My name is Ernesto Verdugo.
And my name is Dave Crane. No, sorry, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Is it? Okay. Oh yeah, I'm Dave Crane.
And my name is Ernesto Verdugo. And keep on watching these shows over there. Take care. See you soon.